Santiago Canyon College is an innovative learning community in Orange, California, with more than 260 certificate and degree programs. Santiago Canyon College is a proud sponsor of community programming and OC World.
OC World is made possible by the generous contributions of Marisla Foundation, Keith and Judy Swain Family Foundation, Wells Fargo Bank, the University of California, Irvine, Orange County Community Foundation, Farmers and Merchants Bank, and viewers like you. Thank you.
Family patriarch Don Miguel Gonzalez immigrated to the United States in the early 1960s to support his growing family back in Jalisco, Mexico. In 1976, he brought over his wife and 13 children to launch Northgate Market, converting a liquor store in Anaheim into a grocery store. Today, the family-run business has 44 stores in 5 counties, including the flagship Mercado González Northgate Market on Harbor Boulevard in Costa Mesa, which is more than just a grocery store. It's an immersive, authentic Mexican food experience with multiple food courts that include many of Northgate's own creations, from guacamole to chorizo, fresh ceviche to menudo, as well as fresh breads and fish, churros, a tortilleria, and a restaurant. Beyond the grocery stores, however, the Gonzalez family are also recognized for their commitment to giving back to the community. I'm Mimi Cruz, guest host for OC World. And for this program, we interviewed 3 of the 13 Gonzalez children, Oscar, Estela, and Jesus. Thank you for being here today. You are the owners of 44 supermarkets, very successful chain, Northgate González Market, in 5 counties. Can you tell us, what is the secret sauce to your success?
Well, I believe like any sauce, it has a lot of ingredients, but certainly family is one of the keys in our success, and the desire to, to work together and, build something together that would be something that we could pass on to future generations, and to serve, in our case, the early immigrant Mexican consumer here in Anaheim.
So your newest Mercado in Costa Mesa has become quite the destination.
The Mercado is really an inspiration around, how can we be the best at delivering an authentic Mexican food experience? And we believe that by being more authentic with our culinary program, being more authentic with creating just a beautiful environment where you could bring segments of customers, our core first generation Mexican consumers, the younger acculturated Hispanics that also want authentic, Mexican food, and then what we call the food explorers, anyone who loves Mexican food, and really bring it all together, in a space that really elevates our Mexican culture and our Mexican heritage. And really invite, create an invitation that, that allows for anyone from any sort of ethnicity or age to feel proud and feel the energy of an authentic environment.
What are your roles in the company?
I'll start by saying that, we try to stay away from titles in our company, especially amongst the brothers and sisters. And we believe that the most important role is the ambassador role, and that is, how do you make sure that your associates are being treated fairly, that people are respecting the values. And then we've got individual roles. My sister Estela is the president of the foundation, of the González Reynoso Family Foundation. Jesus heads up operations, and I'm a co-president. But again, we really try to minimize the titles and be clear about, we're all working together and we're all, for a common purpose.
Can you tell us about your parents? A little more about your parents and the journey from Mexico.
Mis papás fueron unas personas de mucha fe. Ellos siempre estaban cerca de Dios y a nosotros también nos inculcaban mucho eso. Entonces siempre mi papá trataba de que estuviéramos toda la familia unida, porque hubo una ocasión que se vino él solo con mis hermanos. Después regresó a México y luego nos fuimos a vivir al DF. Entonces, estando ahí, pues la verdad mi papá no había dinero para seguir viviendo ahí. Se tuvieron que venir, fue cuando se vino Miguel, mi hermano, y mi papá, se vinieron para acá. Entonces ya nos quedamos allá nomás de una de mis hermanas, Ana Rosa, era la más grande, y de ahí para abajo nos quedamos con mi mamá viviendo en Jalos, el pueblo donde nosotros vivíamos. Pero yo creo que mi papá siempre tenía en su mente que estuviéramos todos juntos. Para él era muy importante tener la familia unida.
Just to add on to that, I think the advice to other families, in particular immigrant families, is it all started with a need and sacrifice. I mean, the sacrifice was really both my mom and dad when they made the decision that my father would come to the United States with his two oldest kids, 17 and I believe 16, Francisco and Ramon. And my mother would stay back and raise the rest of the kids, 10. And it was, they had never been separated. And it was a very difficult, decision. But, as Estela mentioned, my mother was and father, tremendous, people of faith, and also people who dreamed and had a desire to, create a better future for their kids and their willingness to sacrifice. And I think in many ways that's been the journey. The journey has been about like a dream and eventually, sort of taking that leap of faith. And that time it was about, separating, coming to El Norte, staying back in the small town. And it was, their trust in the fact that they would, take that big leap of faith, hoping and praying and, and working really hard to make it a reality.
How did you get the name Northgate?
Well, it's a funny story, but it's a real story, So when my father and my brother Miguel were offered the opportunity to buy that business, it was actually called Northgate. And the reason why we kept that name is because we didn't have any money to buy a sign. But after that, my brother Miguel saw the name and actually said Northgate, which is North Gate, right? And in Spanish it's Puerta del Norte. And that's really what we did when we came from the south to the north. So that's when we made a decision that was the name that really fitted, the journey of my dad and my mom bringing us over here. So that was the story about Northgate.
Take us back to 1980 when you opened your first store in Anaheim.
Well, 1980, I was 16 years old. And in reality, my dad wanted to buy which was pretty much a liquor store. His whole motive was, how do we get more so that we can create more jobs for the family, and obviously, get us involved in some type of business, and for him to be owned by the family. So, but 1980 was what I would call, because we didn't know anything about the grocery business. We shared, my dad knew more of the shoe store and business, so that when we started, we really started from scratch, from pricing the product, produce. We only bought produce once a week. Obviously some of the brothers learned how to do the meat, but at that time we didn't have any knowledge. And but one of the things that I always share with our associates is our family days. And one of the things that I share with them is that my kind of sense or my experience was that we didn't have any knowledge of the grocery business, but we still had customers coming back. And to me, the secret sauce or the reason why people were coming back was our customer service. We knew our customers by name. We knew where they were from. We knew even what soccer team they preferred. So to me, it was more of customer service and people feeling like they're being heard or serviced. To me, that was kind of the first start of the store.
What is it like to work with all of your siblings? There's 13. You're all operating the business. What is that like?
We see it as a great blessing. It's really been a really beautiful journey. I think this is like the 35th year where every Wednesday, all of my brothers and sisters, we get together to have lunch. And so for us, the business has been, just a tremendous blessing to really build a family that loves each other and with common values of, hard work and faith and humility. And so the business has given us that opportunity to really be a stronger family, which, with 13, it's never easy, but we have been committed. We've been committed to stewardship of our family, our business. We also believe there's a higher purpose in everything we do, and our faith, that we got from my mom and dad has always been a big part of, what drives us and keeps us together. But it's been a beautiful journey. Not always easy. Not always, not always easy. But certainly, I think Jesus, my brother, was saying that, my dad and my mom always said, look, we don't believe in divorce, and you guys need to figure your things out, and whatever differences or issues, and you've got to stick together, and we've honored that, and I think that's been a big part of our success. I remember I was 10 years old when we opened the first store, and for me, the first store was a place where I got to interact with all my brothers and sisters, my dad. But it was a real leap of faith for especially for my dad, who was 54 at the time. But really, what was really beautiful, I remember hearing the stories in the house even before we bought the store about, hey, how are we going to afford this? My dad talking about mortgaging his house and being really afraid of doing that, and Miguel, my brother, of doing the same thing to provide the equity, and then a lot of my brothers and sisters, basically quitting their jobs and going to work for, this little store. So it was a real family, environment and dynamic where, everybody was trying to figure out how they were going to contribute. And I think that was a big part of the glue that really kind of helped. Especially, I was only 10 years old. I played a lot of video games at the time, so it didn't work much. But certainly my brothers and sisters, they were, some of them brought in the capital, others brought in the sweat equity, and it was just a beautiful thing to be there. It was better than going to Disneyland.
Wow, better than Disneyland.
Yes, it was.
So you're recognized for your entrepreneurial prowess, but you're also respected for your charitable work. And I wanted to ask you about your foundation, the Northgate Reynoso, is it Gonzales? The Gonzales Reynoso Foundation, what you do and why.
Pues la fundación empezó más bien cuando mi papá falleció. Nos dimos cuenta que a mi papá le gustaba ayudar a las personas y creímos que era algo muy bueno y que nosotros podíamos hacer también. Y realmente el que empezó la fundación fue Marco Antonio, mi hermano, y empezó en México y luego ya aquí, cuando vino aquí, creímos que era bueno seguir haciendo lo mismo desde aquí. Entonces fue cuando empezamos a hacer un torneo de golf y pues la verdad lo que más nos importaba entonces sacar dinero para poder dar becas a las personas que nos pedían. Podía ser personas que trabajaban con nosotros o familiares de ellos. Entonces eso fue como empezamos a hacer y también lo que vimos que debíamos de seguir haciendo algo que mi mamá siempre cuando ella vivía ayudaba en México a un asilo. Cada mes les daba ella cierto dinero y también eso nosotros lo seguimos haciendo y la verdad pues se siente uno muy orgulloso poder oír cuando tú vas a una tienda o algo y te dicen, mire, gracias, mi hijo ya es un ingeniero, es un abogado y ustedes estuvieron dando becas desde que empezó la escuela. Para eso es una satisfacción muy grande nosotros oír todas esas cosas que nos dicen que hemos podido contribuir un poquito con nuestros asociados.
What is it that compels you to help?
What compels us to help make the communities we serve, better is our deep desire that we're grateful for the opportunity we've had to do business in this country, to impact, communities and impact, the people that live in those communities. And, a big part of our essence and frankly our purpose as a family and as a company is really about, how do we help improve the communities we serve? There's a lot of need in the communities that we operate in. And really we have organized our giving and our passion in three ways. One is around education. I think my sister Estela mentioned, the scholarship program. There's a lot of beautiful stories about, somebody whose mom started in the tortilleria department and eventually her son received a scholarship and went on to Cal State Fullerton, graduate from USC, and now works for us as a director in a tortilleria department. And so there's a lot of beautiful stories around the power of education in those communities that frankly haven't had many times the exposure or the opportunity to go to higher education. The other piece is really around health and wellness. I mean, our stores, the amount of fresh and healthy products we offer is off the chart. But a lot of times in our communities where there's a lot of diabetes, a lot of issues with just chronic issues, a lot of it is around education and access. And so a lot of our, again, efforts, passion is how do we help improve, the health and the wellness of our customers and our communities. And then the third part is really around faith. And I mean, as I mentioned earlier, and we mentioned, faith is a big part of who we are and what we believe. And so we really try to partner with a lot of the faith groups, churches in every community that we operate in. And frankly, I think what we believe that our higher purpose, again, is to make sure that we can, impact our communities in ways that will make them better.
What's next for Northgate?
Well, we're really excited about the new dream. And, the new dream is really is to create a 100-year multi-generational family business. And we want to do that with the same values, the same purpose, and be able to instill the values that we learned from our parents, the importance of hard work, the importance of humility, the importance of giving back, and create really a company that's going to be purpose-driven and is going to care about people and our associates and our communities. And that's the next big dream we have. We want to continue to open up new stores in Southern California, but we absolutely want to be the best at providing an authentic Mexican food experience in the markets that we operate.
Or are you venturing into different businesses?
We are. Our focus is to continue to open supermarkets, and we've got a very ambitious plan to continue to do that. We also have just embarked into food manufacturing, so the ability for us to produce products that we will be able to sell in our markets and outside of our markets. We are also very involved in medical clinics and the impact of the medical clinics in the communities we serve. And overall, we continue to make sure that the business's purpose is to improve the lives and enrich the lives of our associates and our community. Yeah.
Can you give us more specifics about your expansion plans?
Yeah, so we're very excited about expansion and very excited about the opportunities that the marketplace has created, the opportunities in the marketplace. We want to continue to open 3 to 5 stores a year, and we want to continue to grow in Southern California. We are looking at other areas outside of California as well. We want to make sure that as we build this focus around being the best at providing an authentic Mexican food experience, we can do that. Food manufacturing and growing our competence in food manufacturing is a big area of focus and growth for us. Frankly, we are looking at new formats. Obviously, our new Mercado format in Costa Mesa is something that we're very excited about, that we believe we can grow and bring to other communities and other cities. But also what's very important about growth is growing our people. And so we're very committed to growing our associates, making sure we're providing opportunities for them and their families, education opportunities, new roles. We've got a lot of beautiful stories of young men and women that started in our business as a box girl or a box boy, and now are directors of distribution or directors of a store. So I think the growth of the business needs to go hand in hand with the growth of our associates and also providing, an opportunity for them.
Do you have any advice for other families who'd like to emulate your success?
Nosotros un modelo para otras familias porque no es fácil ser 13 hermanos y hermanas y tener 53 nietos y 70 bisnietos. Entonces, tiene que ser algo que tengamos nosotros que saber cómo poder convivir todos juntos. Porque la verdad, yo creo que para mi mamá era una cosa muy importante, que todos siempre estuviéramos unidos. Y mi papá también, por eso buscó una tienda para que toda la familia pudiéramos trabajar.
That's a great story.
The best piece of advice that I have received is that as we continue to, find success in our business and find success with our families, to remain grounded, to make sure that, you're clear about what your values are. Like my brother Jesus mentioned, don't let your ego get too big. And just make sure that, you always remember, giving back, making sure that you're, you stay grounded.
Para mí lo más importante es darle gracias a Dios por dejarnos estar aquí y por permitirnos crecer con toda la familia unida. Gracias a Él estamos aquí.
As a mom, I want my kids' lives to be filled with joy and possibility, and I want that for every kid. That's why I support No Kid Hungry. They work in schools and communities to make sure every kid gets the healthy meals they need. Please join me in supporting No Kid Hungry for all kids.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Rick Reef. I've been a journalist for more than 50 years, and I've spent most of that time, 30 plus years, in Orange County. And in recent years, I've devoted much of that time to the most neglected segment of journalism in Orange County, and that's television. We're a community of more than 3 million people, but we don't have our own commercial news stations. We're part of the Los Angeles television market, and we all know that means that much of what happens in Orange County never gets covered. Even 3 million people get lost in a market that totals 18 million. San Diego, same size as us, they have their own television stations. Even Palm Springs has its own stations, but not OC. There's only one other community in the entire country in a similar fix, Long Island, New York. But Long Island, big as it is more of a bedroom community than we are, and arguably a good fit with the huge New York media market. That's not the case here in Orange County. We are our own community. So what to do? Well, for sure, support the efforts to bring community programming here, and especially support my friends and colleagues at OC World. They're doing important journalism, probing big issues, highlighting our culture, and engaging thought leaders. And in its short existence, OC World has already distinguished itself with award-winning documentaries.